Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. So, in my recent video about Jeffree Star, I kept going on these tangential rants, and in one of them I offhandedly was like, don't get me started on Neil deGrasse Tyson. And one of the comments was like, I have to hear about what your beef with Neil deGrasse Tyson is. And the thing about me is, I've been saying this for a long time on this channel, I basically don't really like anyone. Everyone kind of annoys me in some capacity. Just some people annoy me more than others. So I thought it would be funny to compile a little list of everyone that I have a one-sided beef with, aka they're unaware, or they don't know that I exist, or they're aware but it's not actually that deep or serious. Warning, this video is not actually that deep or serious. Chill out if I, name someone that you like. Now, this isn't even an exhaustive list. It's only 3 pages long. I feel that I could go on for longer. However, it's one of those things where, like, on a day-to-day basis, so many things piss me off. But then when it comes to writing them down, my brain blue screens and goes, what? No one's never annoyed me in my life. So let's be positive. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Check out my merch store. Bottles, hoodies, leisure wear, everything. And if you sign up to the newsletter, you'll receive 10% off of your first order. So make sure you sign up to the newsletter at ayclothing.tmail.com. Let's be positive and start with the people that I like. Keanu Reeves. Who would have seen that coming? Can you guess number 2? I'm waiting. You're right. Pedro Pascal. Number 3. My boyfriend. Then Adam Brody. I like him. Olivia Ansel, she's a very, very unproblematic beauty guru from TikTok. Tamsin, the posh one from TikTok. I like her. I find her content comforting and cozy. Okay, Rachel and Eva, Rachel and Evangelina. Obviously, I like them too. Deji, KSI's little brother. I've got a soft spot for Deji.
You idiot. You're honestly an idiot. I don't know what's wrong with you.
Some of my friends. I do like some of my friends. That's all. Family members? No. Other friends? No. Okay. Now, let's get on to everyone I have a one-sided beef with, and I might go into detail, I might not. Depends how long you guys have, because I feel like I could actually just bitch about people for an hour straight, but I'll try not to. Starting off with the person I probably have the biggest one-sided beef with, myself. I annoy myself really no, that's not true. Other people do annoy me more than myself, because sometimes I think I'm really funny and I laugh at my own jokes, my own writing. I'm a delight, truly. But I get in my own way, and I have done for all of my life. And if I could just sort it out, I would be rich from writing so many books and screenplays and stand-up comedy sets and just being an all-round talent. And then I would funnel that money into becoming a billionaire by buying up properties and companies and whatever and stocks, and then I would use the money to put back into myself to become prime minister, because apparently anyone can really become the prime minister. Remember that time we had like 3 prime ministers in 2 weeks? Anyone can be the prime minister in this country. So I annoy myself very much. I also don't have a lot of patience or a lot of tolerance for people's stupidity, which is half of this video, and I can be a bit too mean, and I'm very reactionary and I'm quick to irritate because of my ADHD. Or is it just me? Is it just patience is a factor? Also, I'm very up my own arse, but I'm very self-aware of all of my shortcomings, so it's just a bit of a nightmare. So got myself out the way just to be fair to everyone else on this list. Now let's get on with it for real. Ryan Reynolds. This alleviated somewhat when I recently watched Deadpool and Wolverine. I didn't like the first Deadpool movies because I found them so grating. So look how funny we are. We're a bit like the intro credits, I think, on the first one, where it's like produced by some guy. That's probably something that I would write, but because I saw someone else do it, it just annoyed me and I didn't like it. All of the breaking the fourth wall moments, so up its own arse, so like, look how revolutionary we are. They just annoyed me. And then that annoyance translated into, oh, I just don't like Ryan Reynolds. I don't like the sound of his voice. I don't like, oh, that's another person to put on the list. No, I'll leave it. I don't like people, I don't like men who have like soft lilting voices. I also don't like it when men vocal fry. Women, I'm not that bothered. Men vocal frying, I don't like. Is that sexist? Probably. That was a joke, YouTube. Ryan Reynolds has this soft lilting voice that I don't like. It gives me the ick. He just gives me the ick a little bit, but it did get alleviated, but I still just don't trust him. There's something about him, the vibes are off, and he is married to Blake Lively, who appears later on in this list. Even their whole, haha, look at us, we're so quirky, we're the couple that takes the piss out of each other, haha, isn't this funny? It's just like, ugh, eye roll, just be normal, guys. Ooh, no, I will. I'm going to put that on there. And do you know what's annoying about the whole Ryan Reynolds thing? I have friends who work in film, and I'm always like, okay, give me the gossip on this person, and a few of them come up, don't worry about that. But Ryan Reynolds, nothing, nada. Nice bloke to the staff, apparently. Annoying. I just want to know, like, if he's kicked a cat or something, so then I can feel righteous in not liking him. The vibes are off. Ooh. I'm thinking, brilliant. Next person, Neil deGrasse Tyson. And I'm not out of pocket for that one, because I was on the phone to my mate earlier who also appears on this list. And we were talking about this, and I was like, who pisses me off? And he was like, oh yeah, he agreed with me about Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's really patronizing and condescending in a way that's like, oh, bore off. Just have a bit of fun, my dude. And it's funny because I was saying this exact same thing about New Year's like yesterday, but routinely every year on Twitter he'll be like, the earth does not know it is a new year to the earth, it is just another rotation, New Year's is a social construct, does it? And it's like, yeah, true, but like, it's New Year's Eve, go enjoy yourself, like hang out with some friends, stop shitting on people for having a little bit of fun. Ooh, people who say don't yuck my yum. Like, chill out, because I feel like when it comes to science, and I'm not exactly educated very well in science, but I respect it, I appreciate it. I feel like it's better to keep people having that sense of wonderment towards it, so that they feel more engaged. So like maths, right? I was never into, like, I was pretty good at maths at school up to a point until like year 9, I think, and then I lost interest, and I was one of those stupid kids that was like, when am I ever going to use Pythagoras' theorem? And when people say that, it's just like, okay, without Pythagoras' theorem, we literally wouldn't have GPS. There's lots of things that we just wouldn't have without it. And I don't think I was aware that maths and science go hand in hand. So when I was reading stuff about quantum physics a lot later on, yes, big brained, I was like, wow, I wish I had more of an understanding in maths and I hadn't been like one of those snotty kids that didn't understand how like important maths is. It's the language of the universe. If you were to meet an alien, the fastest way to show the alien that you're not just a ugly, stupid animal. I don't think animals are stupid, but you understand what I mean. To show that you're capable of higher thought, you would write down Pythagoras' theorem and show it to them, because whilst our alphabets wouldn't be the same, they would understand that concept of a squared, that thing, and they'd be like, oh, yes, because we've had to use mathematics to travel the universe, and thus you probably wouldn't get zapped to death by an alien. Maths is great, science is great. I had no appreciation of that when I was younger, and I feel like Neil deGrasse Tyson, he's so patronizing, and it's just a bit rude. He's so quick to just shit on things. Like, chill out, my guy. It's a bit, and I've had this beef with him for years. I remember being drunk and like tweeting at him, like being like, chill the fuck out, my guy. Just enjoy yourself. It's not that, yes, maths is deep, but like whatever you're going on about isn't that deep. Chuck Tingle. Chuck Tingle annoys me because whenever you see people, Reddit, that's on the list too. Whenever you see people on Reddit talking about Chuck Tingle, it's always like, oh, he's a national treasure. He's so funny. Have you downloaded, because he's my direct competition for when I get into the erotica market. You know, once I get past my own self, and I could be a millionaire that way. Apparently, net worth is 7 million, Chuck Tingle. Apparently, according to Google. He does have over 400 works, so it would kind of make sense if he's getting like a decent amount of sales. As he is my direct competition, I think so highly of myself, I decided to download, buy, whatever, some of his books and read them. And I was not impressed. One of them, there was a typo every single page. And when you upload books to Amazon in Kindle Create, there is a function which helps you find any errors. So wasn't impressed with that. He had a book out about Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is Donald Trump. By the way, I've stayed away from politics on this list because otherwise I feel like we would be here all day. I have an issue with everyone in politics across the world. Donald Trump has a very unique cadence, a very specific way of talking. And in this book that Chuck Tingle did, he did not try to mimic it at all. And I just felt like that's so lazy. Rachel's read one of his books where he's actually giving a shit and he's actually trying. And apparently it's quite good. I won't hold my breath. But that's annoying to me because it's like, okay, so when you give a shit and when you like try a bit, there's no mistakes or like, and I don't think his work is very funny either. And I've read a few of them and I just don't feel like it's actual comedic writing. I feel like with some of the parodicas, like there's the Shrek one, there's the one about the door, which I haven't read, but whatever. But the Shrek one I have read. I feel like there's some funny concepts, but the joke is basically in the title, like a satire article. I don't feel that the actual writing itself is very funny or comedic. And if you're charging people several pounds or bucks per book that Chuck Tingle is, then you do owe it to the reader to make sure that they're not reading something that's riddled with errors. So this whole thing of him being a national treasure and being so funny, I just haven't really experienced it. And I've read several of his works by now. I think he's very good at making a very clickbait title and drawing people in. But then when you read the actual content itself, it's not funny. I'm definitely funnier. Awful. Moving on. The CIA / whoever right now on this planet is chilling with aliens, like Paul style, like just the Men in Black or whatever it is. And I've had this beef for a long time too. They may have been working in the military for decades and then moved over to the secret black military or the secret organizations or whatever. So they may have devoted almost all of their life to getting to that position in the first place. But I deserve it more because I want it more. It would be so much better if I was sitting here right now with an alien. I feel like I have just earned it. So I have beef with anyone that has chilled with an alien. I just feel like we'd get on a lot better and it would be more fun. YouTube, I have an ongoing beef with YouTube because right now I don't know what to do with my shorts because some people from a year ago say that shorts can tank your main channel, so it's better to put them on a second channel. But other people say that no, it's totally fine. I just never know where I stand with YouTube. And also I don't get demonetized often, but when I do, my God, it annoys me. My Penelope Douglas video got demonetized, the bully sequel. Demonetized. It's like 3 hours long. Blood, sweat and tears went into that thing and now it's demonetized. It's earning me nothing. So thank you, YouTube. Thank you for nothing. People who say don't yuck others' yums, it disgusts me on a visceral level. It makes me recoil. It makes me clench. Makes my body do all of these things. It's so childish, and valid criticism isn't yucking someone's yum. Do you know what? If your yum is Colleen Hoover, who is also on this list, get a better yum. Raise your standards. The problem ain't me, it's you. But it's such a childish saying, and it's just not a valid thing to say when we talk about criticizing popular literature or other things. I mean, because you could re-say that about everything. Don't go there. I'm going to go there. What if someone's yum is a totalitarian regime? Am I not allowed to yuck that? What if someone really likes Hitler? I know. Why do I always bring up Hitler? I think about him a lot. He's kind of my Roman Empire. Oh, that whole thing. That I have beef with. The whole men are always thinking about the Roman Empire. So what? Give a shit. How often, ladies, how often do you think about the Greeks? I think about ancient Greek civilization every single day. Do I have a viral meme made about that? No. Think about the ancient Egyptians every single day. Think about a lot of things every single day. But no, boys in the Roman Empire, shut up. No, they don't. People who wear normal people scare me t-shirts and who also say things like, oh, well, who would want to be normal anyway? Because sometimes I have some gripes, you know. I'm neurodivergent for starters, and I didn't realize that until I was an adult. So I just thought I was a weirdo kid, and I was treated like a weirdo kid by my classmates, which, oh well, who cares? I was a weird kid. But as long as I can remember, well, ever since watching The Matrix at a very early age, probably shouldn't, I've always been very existential, and I've always thought about things. To me, it's just thinking, but other people call it overthinking. But to me, it's literally just thinking. So maybe step up your game and think on the same wavelengths. I'm so combative. Again, one of my issues that I have a beef with. But I'll bemoan sometimes, like, it would be nice to be a bit more normal, because it is quite alienating. Everything I do is a little bit alienating. I'm a YouTuber, so I'm quite isolated from other people. I'm vegan because I care about animals, so I'm quite alienated from like the average person who applies cognitive dissonance and just doesn't give a shit. Oh, I love animals, so I have to eat bacon. I do philosophy, but also I'm really obsessed with just like dunking on these dead philosophers. I forget which one. One of them, which one is it? Is it Berkeley? Should add him to the list. One of them who talks so convoluted. But then someone else from the same time period. Is it the Scottish one? Hume? I think Hume is actually quite comprehensible. But then there's someone else, maybe it's Berkeley, and it's like, what are you yapping about, man? Like, chill. I don't drink alcohol. That's very alienating in the UK. I also have always been obsessed with the paranormal, UFOs, all of it. I used to, when I was a child, I used to pray to aliens. So I was like, God, yeah, right. Aliens, though. I wanted them to take me away from this planet so I won't have to go to school. I've always been a little bit kind of out there, but not, I would say, aesthetically wise. Like, yeah, I look a tiny bit emo. I've always looked a tiny bit emo. But I don't fall into like alternative fashion categories, I don't think. I've got barbed wire on my neck right now. But I don't think so anyway. So I've always just been kind of like an outlier and the odd one out in every social clique or circle that I've ever drifted through. And sometimes I bemoan this to people and I'm like, it would be nicer for the sake of just like getting along with other people better. I'm also very critical of myself. So I think that everyone thinks I'm an asshole. But I think maybe only 50% of people that I meet think I'm an asshole. And then people turn around and go, oh, well, who wants to be normal anyway? And it's like, I do, Beatrice. I'd like to be a bit more normal, but my brain just doesn't work that way. So I'm just a freak wherever I go. And I don't even fit in with the other freaks. Even YouTube, it's full of cliques. I have no cliques. I have like 4 friends on YouTube because everyone else doesn't like me because I'm always starting beef with people. But no one ever answers my beef either. I'm just weird. And yeah, just a bit eccentric. But I've always been that way. So I've always been treated like a little bit differently because of it. So yeah, people who say, oh, but like, he wants to be normal. It always comes from the most normal fucking people you've ever met as well. The most like, I won't continue that line of thought because I don't want anyone in my audience to be called out. So if you're watching my channel, you're probably like not one of those types of people, but I don't want to like categorize. Moving on swiftly. The moon. OGs will know I hate the moon. I detest it. It's always in the sky. It's always watching me. Sometimes it's out in the day. What's that about? Like, it's not your time, bro. Go back to bed. I hate it when it looks really big and then I have to do the whole like fallout, make sure it's not bigger than my thumb. By the way, if a nuke goes off near you and you're not blasted immediately and you can actually see the mushroom cloud is bigger than the thumb, then that means you're in the Fallout radius, so you better run away. It's also why Vault Boy is doing this in the Fallout series. I hate the moon because I fear it, because I worry, what if something crashed into it so hard, it got knocked off of its axes, and then our gravitational pull pulled it in, and then it fell, and then it hits us, and then we all die, and then we go off our axes, and we go out of the gravitational pull of the sun, and then we're falling through space forever. I don't like the moon. Yes, I may have had like panicky thoughts about this whilst high as a teenager, and that has shaped my opinion ever since. But still, the Shard. I don't like the Shard. It is a monument to man's hubris. Why is it so big? Why is it so pointy? I've been up in the Shard twice and I hated it. Twice. The first time I went for a silent disco. Imagine me at a silent disco. Like, what was I doing? Like, nodding my head. I don't dance. The second time I went up just because, and there was like weird cathedral music being played, and it was so off-putting, and I don't like a building being up that high near airplanes. It's also just pointless. Another person I have beef with, we're still only on page 1, is one of my best friends called Kieran, Kesmotion on Instagram. Go follow him. Check out his company if you want any videography work. But I have a one-sided beef with him. He's aware of this, told him about this earlier. Because for his birthday in January, we're going to the Shard. There's a restaurant in the Shard, right? It's so expensive. They do like 2 vegan things. The chips aren't even vegan because they're cooked in like beef tallow or some crap. So I'm going to have to go to this posho restaurant, pay like X amount. He's helping pay for it actually because it's his birthday. Well, it's his birthday. He shouldn't have to pay for it, but he doesn't want to take the piss with people, basically. He just wants us to dress up and be bougie, which, sure, and it's his birthday, so begrudgingly, of course I'm going to go. But I have to go to this place. I don't even know how high up it is. I don't like the Shard, so I have slight beef with him at the moment. Vegetarians who cheat. I probably have way more disdain for vegetarians who cheat than for omnivores, because vegetarians who cheat have looked into it, have seen the reasons why ethically, morally, they shouldn't be eating the dead flesh of sentient beings. They've looked into it. They've agreed. And yet they slip up on purpose. I don't mean accidentally, like if you get given a dish at a restaurant, bite into it, and it's got meat in because they gave you the wrong thing. I mean the people that do on purpose because they just can't help themselves for like 5 seconds, whether it's a bacon sandwich or pigs in blanket. They just can't help themselves. You could say that, of course, by being vegetarian most of the time, and I'm not talking about flexitarians, I'm talking about the vegetarians who do it for moralistic reasons. I knew this vegetarian who would go on about animals and then she'd eat chicken nuggets, lasagna. So she wasn't a vegetarian, she was just doing it to like one up. I remember that when that person came out, from the anonymous person from Anision's high school, and said that Anision would say meat is murder and then eat cheeseburgers at lunch because he was a hypocrite. I can imagine him doing that because I met people who are like that. First of all, vegetarianism isn't even hard. Be on my fucking level. You still get to eat cheese. Calm down. Bacon. You get to eat brie, blue cheese and all that good stuff. Shut up. Even when people bitch about, like if you're in the UK, I mean, which is like the vegan capital of the world, I think. The vegan country of the world. One of them anyway. When people bitch about veganism's hard too. When I first went vegan, I think I lived off of baked beans and chips for a year. And I was totally fine. I also used to do a lot of coke because I didn't realise that I actually didn't know how unethical coke was. I may have been sober for 5 years, but I've learned a lot about it since then, since being sober. So, I'm not going to touch it. Like, if I touch that stuff again, you know that, like, I've gone completely downhill and I've just, like, gone back on my morals and ethics. But vegetarians who cheat, listen to this line of logic. This is gonna make some of you guys mad. I wouldn't actually trust them to be in a relationship because it's like, if you can turn back your morals, right? And your ethics, and for 5 seconds of momentary mouth pleasure, taste pleasure, that a sentient being has had to die for in horrific conditions, how are you going to turn it down if someone hot came along and started grinding on you? No, but seriously, you can see how I've made like a parallel between the two, right? Because I just feel if you're going to do something ethically and morally, you should be all in. Because I believe that is the right thing to do. When I first went vegan, I was trying to lose a bit of weight, and I was like, I know, I'll just restrict things and get rid of dairy and cheese and restrict what I can have. I'd been vegetarian since like 13 or 14, and it was for ethical reasons because I've always liked animals more than I've liked people. Animals don't judge you for being weird and liking UFOs. So when I was vegetarian, I'd always be like, oh no, vegans are like way too extreme. It's taking it way too far, blah, 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 blah. And then, so I'm a few days into being vegan, and I'd like tried it on and off throughout the years anyway, but the options just really weren't that good like 15 years ago. The people who did it in England in like the 60s and 70s, like walked so we could run with our Greg's sausage rolls and our Ben and Jerry's or whatever. I watched some videos about like the ethical reasons for being vegan, and I felt like a little switch go in my head, and I was not happy to begin with, because I just felt it. I can't explain it better than that. I remember thinking, oh no, I can't go back now, because that solidified it. I guess it's akin to, when vampires in Twilight fall in love and then like that's it. They have like such a shift in their brain, which are made of like, their brains are made of granite, and they're just like stuck in stone forever with their feelings. That's how I felt in that moment watching the video. I was like, oh no, I'm not going to have Maltesers again. And now companies are trying to make vegan Maltesers, but they're not doing it very well because they don't understand like the malt part. It should melt in your mouth. It shouldn't be crunchy. Regardless, vegetarians who cheat, I wouldn't trust you in a relationship. I wouldn't really, like, how flimsy are your morals? How flip-floppy are there? Yes, ultimately, then, like, it's better to, maybe cheat a few times a year than eat every day, but I don't view it in this. People might call me militant for that, but I think the extreme ones are the people who are, like, mass-killing animals. Like 60 billion a year for food. I think that's more extreme. Anyway, Brooke Schofield, the host of the cancelled podcast with Tana Mojo. I have a one-sided beef with her because I find her entitled, rude, not to me personally, I've never spoken to her. Well, the podcast, I think she's babied in a way that like other people aren't. I think she's very condescending to Tana most of the time and is always like sussily putting her down. The vibes are incredibly off and she's a giant pick-me who's even defending that her current boyfriend is like some type of weirdo. So I'd be prepared. Harvey!
Emily,
you should have gone down there and
I'm shocked that you're not believing me right now.
I'm not. I don't believe you, Harv. I really
this is the point. This is mistrust, and that's on your part.
One of you.
From Made in Chelsea, my God, he's got the emotional range of a teaspoon. He has the most monotonous voice you've ever heard. There's really nothing going on behind his toupee, which I'll die on that hill. He has a toupee. There's nothing wrong with that. Just stop lying. Am I going to get sued for this video? I don't care. Whatever. Sue me. What are you going to do? Sue Big Alizee Yeezy? Yeah, right. Like to see me turn up in court. It's not even my legal Christian name. I'm not a Christian. He has so many women, like, jumping over themselves to attempt to be with him. He's awful to all of them. He's a fool. He's so manipulative, but he's just so dry and boring. He's one of the most boring people on the show, and he's been on it for like years. I don't understand it. I don't know why they keep bringing him back. He's not interesting. I have complete disdain for him. Harvey Armstrong, I believe his name is. He's the type of bro that would cheat on you and then be like, but I think this can make us stronger than ever before. Why would you? This is what he said to Emily when he cheated on her like several times. Why would you walk away from everything that, in this voice too, everything that we have created together? Maybe because you stuck your dick in someone else, you freak. Elon Musk. God, I used to really like Elon Musk because I was stupid. To be fair to myself, I was in my early 20s, which is more than what some of these losers on Twitter who are like in their 30s and just like, I'm gonna have to blur this out, to him can say. So embarrassing. He's so cringy. It was better when we knew way less about him. He's also got like 100 kids, all out of wedlock. Good old Christian conservative values there. He puts up AI pictures of himself trying to look way more masculine than he actually is, which is hilarious. He's like trying to get himself like right in there in Donald Trump's family, I think. So weird. Such a weirdo. Get a hobby. Stay away from politics. Get a job. Joe Rogan. I have an on-off beef with Joe Rogan. It really depends on like the week. Right now, I feel nothing towards him right now. Let's move on. Amelia de Moldenberg. Oh yes, beloved chicken shop. I just don't like her style, as in her on-camera presence or lack of. I am petty and jealous of all the opportunities she gets, and yet I don't, despite me having way more riz than her and knowing words like riz. I also just get bad vibes from her. I don't think that she's playing a character. That's my conspiracy theory. I don't really think she's playing a character. I think that is kind of just who she is. IRL. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. But the vibes are off. I get bad vibes. I will not go on your show. I would never be invited anyway. Also, it's eating chickens, so like, I'm not there for that either. Oh, and if we're going to go into podcast hosts, actually, Stephen Bartlett as well, Diary of a CEO. Again, vibes are off with him. He gets on like different nutritionists, and the thing about nutritionists is I don't think many of them agree on very much. Have you seen all those stupid things on TikTok of people going in shops being like, water's bad for you, ice is bad for you, this is bad, like everything's bad for you, and you can massage data into like, if you've got an agenda, into any way to prove your confirmation bias. But he gets these like quite extreme nutritionists on who just yap and say a bunch of stuff, and he never pushes back against them. And I feel like it kind of just spreads misinformation. My landlord, he takes an extortionate amount of money from me every month. And there's other properties. Because I saw his profile. There's other properties. But he's not agreeing to get one. I won't say what it is, but it's just one simple thing that I'd like for the house that I think we need. And no, he was like, get this, you buy this like 10 quid thing instead from out. No, it's for security. So he's on my shit list today. Colleen Hoover, I have like 14 plus videos on why I think she's just a bad person. Not a nice person. The vibes are off. She's putting out absolute slop into the universe. And the don't yuck other people's yums crowd, the normal people scare me, but the most normal, boring people you've ever met crowd, all gobble up her like bird regurgitated into a baby bird's mouth rubbish en masse, day by day, week by week. Like, this is success that you're not ever going to get, I'm not ever going to get, but this untalented hack, and she is a hack. Same with Penelope Douglas. But their work, I feel, is actually a bit more insidious than Colleen Hoover's. Because their work is like, Colleen Hoover, I feel like I know everything about her politically just from the way she writes. But Penelope Douglas, there's something really, really mean and dark. I know it's dark romance, that's not what I mean, but there's something very dark about them. James Corden. I'm amazed it took people in the US this long to cotton on to the fact that he is not a nice person. Why do you think we were so happy to get rid of him in the first place? My best friend Callum, he's always in the firing line because he's always winding me up every day, but then we make up a few seconds afterwards. We truly have a sibling dynamic, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Now Kieran's annoying me again because he's been like, please send me 20 quid for the stupid birthday dinner. Yes, fine. Shit list again. Spotify Wrapped, because I was trying to watch my Spotify Wrapped today, and there were these rubbish little like graphics, and they were lasting for like 20 seconds each time, and then a sentence was coming up that was like 10 seconds long, and my ADHD couldn't take it, and I was like, just hurry, I just want to see. And then I got so annoyed and irritated with it that I clicked off it and I didn't see, and I made a whole rant, and then I actually like checked it again and saw that like right at the end you can see your top. Oh, I just had something walk out of my grave. Like right at the end, I can see that this is Spotify Wrapped. It's coming to haunt me. Oh God, stop. So then I had to make another rant being like, I'm an idiot, but they should make an ADHD friendly Spotify Wrapped, because my God, who has the patience to just sit there for like literally 5 minutes just to find out what their top artists are? Because you don't want to like, I never want to miss stuff as well. I always want to know everything. So I hate skipping ahead of things. It's very annoying. One of my best friends called Marco. We've been friends for a very long time, since college. So, 2 years. And he works in film. And this is how much I appreciate him as a friend, actually, because if it was anyone else, well, if it was any of my other close friends, they would have done this thing by now. But if it was anyone else who hadn't, probably would have cut them off. But I've not cut him off. I've griped a little bit about it. But beyond that, he's worked with Keanu Reeves before. I hope only one time. I have a feeling he's worked with him more than one time. And he's never told Keanu Reeves about me. Which, like, of course, I'm not that entitled, because that would be crazy. Imagine, like, you're working and someone comes up to you and it's like, oh, my person's a big fan of yours. Like, what is he meant to do with that information? Nothing. But it is the principle of the matter. And I'm quite shameless, actually. Well, actually, no, I lie. I'm in a position to be shameless because I'm just a no good, work shy YouTuber. So I would happily go up to someone and be like, oh, by the way, my friend's a fan of yours. In fact, I've done that before when I've seen people and then like other people are a bit nervous to speak to them. Like Mark Ronson, is that his name? Was that some sort of pie? I was working at this party a friend was like a work colleague was really nervous, was like, oh my god, it's Mark Ronson. So I was like, hi, this is my did that happen or did I invent that? I've definitely done it before. Maybe it wasn't with Mark Ronson, but I've definitely done it before. But I'm in a position to be shameless. Well, I was working then and I still did it. Wasn't in the position to be shameless. And yes, if I didn't invent that. No, I'm pretty sure I did that. Regardless. Oh, Keanu Reeves. About me. Like, it's so... And I know Keanu Reeves would just be like, okay, like, what am I meant to do with that information? Good for her, I guess. But still, it's just a bit upsetting. Like, one time one of my friends was like, oh my god, I saw Ed Miliband on the tube and I thought of you. And I was like, okay, but you didn't think of me that much because otherwise you would have gone up to him and been like, hi, go talk to my friend. This is her. She loves you. Love Ed Miliband. He's on the people I like list. Barry Keoghan. I really liked Saltburn when it came out. I was into the hype. So I watched Saltburn. I enjoyed it a lot. I started following him. Some of my friends who have worked with him before were like, vibes were off. And I was like, no, I kind of like him and I like his interviews and whatever. I'm going to get, if he sees me, he's probably going to beat me up now. But why was he taking Sabrina Carpenter to Disneyland and not his child? Oh, like you're really not beating them absentee father allegations, are you? Speaking of which, Sabrina Carpenter, just because her music is like unseasoned chicken levels of bland. Boring, bland, like that Please, Please, Please song. It sounds all right when it's sped up for TikTok, but the rest of the time it's like, oh, how boring, God. And also like begging a man to not embarrass you. Honey, that's embarrassing. Ooh, I've never said honey before. I take that back. That was embarrassing. And also, I know it was all very tongue-in-cheek, but still, like, imagine someone's written a song about you and it's like, please don't embarrass me, you have a bad reputation. And then imagine being in that music video. Like, okay, weird. Apparently they've broken up. Because he might have cheated on her. So, Barry Keoghan on the shit list. Philip DeFranco. I think he's an android sent from the future to bore us all to death. He used to post a lot on Twitter and it was just the most like kind of like basic, like universally acceptable, yes, I agree with this because it's it's like saying, it's like when people say, oh, pizza is like sex because even bad pizza is still pizza. You know, it's like that level of beautiful. That level. Also, like, he gets to hide under the news channel thing, but he's just a drama channel, guys, that occasionally reports on like real world news. But no, he's essentially just a drama channel. But you know, if a woman talks about drama, it's tea and it's drama and hee. But if a man does it, it's commentary and it's taken a bit more seriously and a little more valid. Boring. Change the channel, everyone. Beautiful. KSI. Oh my God. Recently, when he had his little meltdown over that Dan TDM guy on Twitter making one tweet about him and it's lived rent-free in his head, he's probably right now doing tweets about him still. It's so pathetic. Like, bro, you're a multi-millionaire. He is so rich. I think the Sidemen are worth like 100 million or something, which is crazy. And they're next, don't worry about that. But you are worth so much money. You have so much going for you and you're going to get that wound up. And then he like tries to pretend, oh no, I'm trolling you guys. I'm not actually that bothered. And it's like, I would believe that if you'd kept it to less than 10 reactions. But no, he's mentioned him in videos. He's mentioned him in countless tweets. And then I watched a video of Dan TDM talking because I didn't know who this guy was. He's a Minecraft YouTuber. He reminds me very much of one of my friends. He's got the same kind of voice. He just seems like a really chill, nice guy. And he wasn't bothered at all by KSI having a meltdown. Also, the Thick of It song, I did like the reactions to it when Deji was reacting to it. And he was just laughing so much like 5 seconds in at nothing. That's so me.
I'm in the thick of it, everybody knows.
But the Thick of It song sounds so much better as like a 50s, 60s kind of like Fallout version of it. And I won't put it in because I don't want to get copyright claimed, but it's on TikTok everywhere. Go listen to it. It sounds so much better with just a completely different take on it. So that's kind of embarrassing for him. Love Deji though, the Sidemen, especially one of them called Ethan. To me, the Sidemen are just a group of blokes. They're just a group of average blokes. And I understand that's their appeal to other average blokes, but this is, I know I'm biased, this is the bitter, resentful part of me coming out, so if you disagree, I don't care. This is my lived experience. You can just be an average bloke and get so far on something like YouTube because you're relatable, but being a woman on YouTube. You have to really, like, because people think, oh no, you just have to like, it's easier for, it's not easier for girls. It's not easier to be taken seriously. Again, the whole like dichotomy of the drama / commentary thing. You don't see the same levels of success unless like you're truly the outliers. For me, it's the fact that I just like their takes on things, especially this Ethan guy, are so lukewarm. Their humor, I guess it's just not for me, but it's not saying my sense of humor is sophisticated, but I just don't think any part of them are sophisticated. And yet they are allegedly $100 million business just for being average blokes. And also God, this is so bitchy. This is just about men in general on YouTube. Men can really roll out of bed and look like whatever, and people will be like, okay, sure. But the moment I look a little bit puffier, or the moment like a girl doesn't wear makeup or looks a little bit disheveled, we're giving so much grief. And it's like some of these dudes are millionaires and they can't be asked to, I'm going to say it, get a haircut. Like, come on, standards. But I particularly don't like this Ethan guy because I saw lots of clips of, he had this podcast with his other half, and he just seemed, again, bad vibes. The vibes were off. And he was talking about, I want you to have my last name if we get married because it's tradition. Tradition doesn't mean anything. I could punch someone in the face every year on like the 8th of October. And if I did that for a few years, it would become tradition. Is it a good thing? No, it doesn't mean anything. It's a social construct. Like, grow up. Did she want to keep her last name? I think she did. And he was just not having any of that. And it harkens back to a time where women were literally seen as property. Now, if it's something that you both agree on, that you want your partner's last name, that's cool, that's fine. But he was being so just like, about it, so uneducated. Or maybe he just sees her as property. I mean, the way that like men of a certain generation are going with the rise of, let's not get into it, but a one-sided beef with the Sidemen. Jason Momoa, this guy has like some of the best PR you'll ever see, because all there is on the internet is just people being nice about him and being like, oh, he's so amazing. And one time he was really nice to Emilia Clarke. I won't embarrass myself in front of her, never mind. He was nice to her, so that shows what a gentleman he is. When I've heard the opposite, I've heard that he is just not a nice person. I've also heard that The Rock is not a nice person, that The Rock... Do you know what? I don't want to get sued. It wasn't anything like dodgy in that sense, but it was just like, oh, grow up, man. I don't want to get sued. So I'll just say also, The Rock, not a nice person, allegedly, according to people in the industry. Bonnie Blue, I mean, I've done a few videos on her. I do, actually, after a little bit of sleuthing, believe that she is 24, 25. So I've almost softened a little bit towards her because, boy, I was a pick-me when I was 24. Well, not to quite that extent of, you know, like throwing all of women under the bus, but I was saying, like, I went for an anti-feminist phase of being like, I don't want to be seen as a feminist and I don't like third wave feminism because it's just misandry. And now look, I'm just a misandrist. So I've kind of softened a little bit towards her, but I think she's a danger to herself first and foremost, and then she's also awful for feminism. Sam and Yaz from Made in Chelsea, because they did the dirty on Inga, and then they made a crap podcast that no one cared about, where they tried food and gave such enlightening commentary such as, this is really good. No one watched it, and now they've apparently it was in the newspapers. In the newspapers, really? I think it was like the Metro. They have broken up, so half of them don't care, don't come back to Made in Chelsea. Russell Brand, for obvious reasons, let's not even get into it. I've complained about him enough. Matt Rife, I still have like a begrudging kind of one-sided beef with, though he's gone real quiet. Here and there I've been watching some of the Kill Tony show, which he's in his own drama, but here and there I've been watching a little bit of it, and he was on an episode of the Kill Tony show and he was giving nothing, honestly. Like the other people, because they'll sit and like someone will do a bit of stand-up and then like these judges will judge, and it's a very like, you know, dark, humoured, very, very harsh show. But yeah, Matt Rife was on and he was really giving nothing. So I just don't think anything of him. I don't really... He and Brooke are quite similar, actually, and they dated. Because they both think that they're funnier than they actually are. They think that they can say things without there being any pushback. And if you do push back, you're in the wrong for it. And they were both kind of handed their careers, but in a different way. Interesting. Birds of a feather. Male masseuses. Anytime I've had a male masseuse, they're way too rough. They're way too hard on me. It's like to a point where I think, have I done something to offend you? Why are you trying to break my back? And then you'll say, can you lighten the pressure? And it's still really hurting. They seem to think that it has to just really, really hurt you for it to be any benefit. I'm not a masseuse, but I don't think that's true. So it's at a point where Miss Andrew's popping out. I won't get a male masseuse. I'll only get a female one. And like, I'm really, really English, okay? It takes a lot for me to say, usually it's like, when you go to the hairdressers and they like wash your hair and they go, is the temperature okay? It has to be scalding hot for me to say, oh, so can you just like, turn the temperature down a little bit. It takes a lot for me to get to that point. Otherwise, I will just grit my teeth and bear it. Same with getting massage. Like, I can be in so much pain. And there was this one time, this guy, he was like killing me. I don't know what I did, but he wanted to like break my spine and paralyze me. For a good 20 minutes, I was gritting my teeth and I was like, I've got to say something. No, I can do it. I can shoulder through. But he was hurting me so much that I had to say it's a bit too firm. And then he lightened it ever so much, but it was still really hurting. So when you're like really English and really like don't bother anyone, don't say anything, it's a very difficult social interaction to navigate. So I just avoid male masseuses entirely. I get female ones who don't feel like they're going to bludgeon me. People who thread eyebrows. I haven't had my eyebrows done in like ages because eyebrow threading hurts so much for like no good reason. Also, I'm dumb and I seem to always do my eyebrows when I'm like on or near my period. So I guess that's a little bit on me. Like same with Botox actually. When I was getting Botox done, it would always be near or around my period. And like my dentist would notice and he'll be like, are you on your because you're a bit sensitive today? Because I'd be like crying from, I've not had it in ages. So, but December CPM, come January, this face might be frozen. Can't be asked for it, to be honest. People who thread eyebrows, what is your damage? Like, why are you trying to like rip my skin out? Jim from The Office, not John Krasinski. I have no real feelings towards him, but Jim from The Office, because everyone just thinks he's so great and I'm so twite. Everyone thinks that he's so nice, but he's actually a really bad husband in the later series. But because like a lot of the fan base on Reddit is just sexist, they see it as like Pam being a bitch and not letting him live out his dream. And I think I'm going to do a whole video on like in defense of Pam Beesly. Because, she got to go to art school when they were dating and he supported her, but she won't support him putting all of like their savings into this company and spending several days a week in Philadelphia away from, her who's like got 2 kids under 2. That's a completely different scenario. Like, follow your dreams, but then she was having to do all of I know it's just a TV show, but it's fine. It's more the fan base just pissed me off because they don't like some of them, the clearly sexist ones, don't understand what the issue is with that. Oh, because Pam got to go to art school. Yeah, before they were married and before they had kids. Like, it's not Pam's fault that Jim was lazy all of his life and didn't want to do anything with his life until the 9th season. Bethesda, for never understanding the assignment when it comes to Fallout. And I enjoyed the Fallout TV show, and then I thought about it a bit more. And then I refreshed my knowledge on the Fallout universe, and it's kind of bullshit what Bethesda are doing to the series. All I want is New Vegas 2. That's all millions of people want. And we're never going to get it. And even if we did get it, Bethesda cannot write for shit. They should get me so arrogant. They should. I know that didn't Microsoft buy Bethesda and they've also bought Obsidian? But I just don't feel that we're ever going to get the same team that worked on Fallout New Vegas to do number 2. So if they did number 2, it would probably be bad. Because Bethesda's writing, don't get me started, I'm going to start. When you meet Kaiser, in New Vegas and you ask him, why are you trying to fight the NCR? Like, what is your goal? Why are you doing awful things in the name of progress within the Mojave Wasteland? He basically gives you some Hegelian dialectics and talks about how the NCR and Caesar's Legion are the thesis and the antithesis, and if they beat them they can merge into something that's going to be better for and he's a crazy genocidal, but you can see the logic, and he gives you a little philosophical. And there's a lot of times in Fallout New Vegas actually where you can win a debate by using logic, reason, philosophy, etc. I mean, even in Fallout 1, which the original team, was it Black Isle? So it was Interplay, then Black Isle, and then people from those teams went and formed Obsidian, or they joined Obsidian. Even in Fallout 1, spoiler alert, there's this antagonist called the Master, and you can beat him with his own logic, and like you can show him the flaw in what he's trying to achieve, and it causes him to exit permanently, shall we say. Whereas Bethesda, Fallout 4, there's this shadowy organization called the Institute, and they are replacing humans with synthetic people that look and breathe and bleed just like you, but they're not. And then you can ask, Father, why are you doing this? Like what is your end goal? What's your reasoning? And he says, you wouldn't understand even if I told you. And that is some bullshit. That is such bullshit writing. Fallout is unless Bethesda gave it up to Obsidian, and like the original people who were working on it throughout the past few decades came to like, you know, Fallout's never going to be what it can be. It's not meant to be like 1950s simulator plus a wasteland. It's not really meant to be like that. It's meant to be a retro-futuristic look at what the wasteland in 200 years' time would look like within the context of an alternative universe. It's brilliant. Bethesda are just getting their grimy paws into it. BJ Novak, aka Ryan from The Office. This is all alleged what I'm saying, but come on, dude. We all allegedly know you're allegedly the father to Mindy Kaling's children. Just be with her fully and be a family. Stop allegedly hitting on younger women. Get it together, man. Hajime Isayama, I will never forgive him for that ending to Attack on Titan. I've never actually even seen the anime ending. I refuse to give it any more time than I already did for years of my life. So I've never watched season 4 of the anime, and I never will. I'm Alex for all of those obvious reasons, but for less obvious reasons, and this ties into what I was saying earlier, he and most popular male comedy channels sort of epitomize the issues I was saying about serving slop but getting paid tens of thousands of pounds a month and reaching popularity and success heights that I will never. Me and, you know, some of my mates, we will never become as successful as some of these guys, despite being smarter, funnier. Well, me, funnier. I'm definitely funnier than all of these people put together. Probably better looking too. Because like I say, men can just like roll out of bed and turn on a camera. I have to do all of this to my face. Matt Hancock, for when he was trying to be a celebrity and he was going on to I'm a celebrity, even though he's a politician, not a celebrity. So he counts because he's trying to be a celebrity. He doesn't count in my no politicians thing. He makes no effort with his appearance, his manner, his charisma. He makes no effort at all. And yet he was trying to create a TV production company because he wanted to break through into mainstream TV. And it's like, please, get some Invisalign and then talk to me. Because again, I'm a woman on the internet. And I have to do so much to try and look halfway presentable so that I don't get loads of men roasting me for being ugly or looking bloated and fat. So instead, like some people will be like, oh, but we should bring back criticizing people's appearances. Because we'll really say, oh, we should criticize actions instead of appearance. And I agree, we should. But when you're a woman on the internet, you're on the receiving end of like so much constant like bombardments about your appearance. So I'm going to stoop to people's levels. I don't care. Like, why should I be the bigger person? Like, whose peace am I keeping if I'm the bigger person? I'm not keeping my own peace, I'm keeping their peace. So my New Year's resolution is to stop being the bigger person and go as low as possible and not keep the peace for other people's sake. Timothée Chalamet, I just think he's overrated. Ethan Slater for running out on his baby and wife to hang out with woman child Ariana Grande, who constantly looks to be on the verge of tears. She annoyed me too. I saw a picture of her the other day. I think it was during those like Wicked. Why does she always look like she's crying? Like, it's your fault that you keep breaking up marriages and relationships. Why do you look like you're always crying? Benedict Cumberbatch, again, the vibes are just off of him. My vibes are off. Not into him. Greg Wallace, who is one of the hosts of MasterChef, and recently he's been in the news for allegedly having lots of inappropriate behavior with women and staff over the years. And he did the Bonnie Blue defense of saying, essentially, all my detractors are middle-class women of a certain age. So he was being sexist, devaluing, and dismissive. Like, how about you shut up and you don't grope women and you don't allegedly expose yourself and rub your crotch against women? How about that? Also, get a wig. You buffoon. Blake Lively, she's a mean girl. The vibes are off. Boogie2988, my God, will this man stoop at... I think I complained about him earlier in the year, did I? He'll do anything for a pity party, including fake having cancer. So, Piers Morgan, people like Piers Morgan because they say things like, oh, he just says what he wants, and I like that. Yeah, children say what they want. 5-year-olds say what they want. Am I going to hold them up and give them an uncensored TV show? No. Also, his takes are very lukewarm and they're really, like, not that controversial. Oh, God. Sensitive people are now going to have a go at me. That's not what I mean. He thinks that he's so much harder than he... I don't think he thinks he's hard. But he thinks he's so much more, like, controversial than he actually is. But it's like, I can just go on Twitter and see, like, 10 times worse of your, like, than your opinions. Like, you know, but his whole shtick now is like, Piers Morgan, uncensored. I'm saying the things that you can't say and they don't want you to say. And it's like, you have a fucking TV show. Okay, Ricky Gervais. E.L. James. I hate everything that you choose to be. BetterHelp, because well, hopefully not now. I'm always, like, several times a year getting offers from management by BetterHelp. And I have to be like, no. They had the huge scandal a few years ago. They frauded people because I think they like stole people's money or something. Might be misremembering that, but there was some issue with them taking out hundreds out of people's bank accounts. Their advertising wasn't very authentic because they really had people like Philip DeFranco actually. Oh, remember when he had that Patreon? Because he said he was going to make a news network and he got like at least 50 grand on the Patreon and then nothing happened. Remember that? That's also where his vibes were off. But they had people like Philip DeFranco being like, oh, when I, want to talk to someone, I use BetterHelp. And it's like, really? Philip DeFranco, you're going to talk to someone over the internet. You don't know, you don't trust. You're going to tell them your deepest, darkest secrets? I don't think so. I don't think you would. And then recently, I think I'm pretty sure they had a big data breach. And I sent it to a former management and I was like, this is one of the many reasons why I don't want to work with BetterHelp. Stop offering them to me. They've had a huge data breach. So there's also a girl on Instagram who's in the BetterHelp adverts and I've got random beef with her. I have tried to be like not interested in this advert and it still comes up because she pulls all these faces for no reason. She goes like this. Like for no reason. For no reason. She'll be like... And it's always that face like scrunching up her... Is that not... That's... Babe, it's going to give you wrinkles. So I have beef with her. Everyone who says... Ted Bundy was handsome and smart. No, he wasn't. He was dumb and butters. And nothing you say will change my mind. I've listened to those audio transcripts. Not transcripts because it's not transcribing. Those audio recordings of him yapping. Smart, where? Handsome, where? Attraction is subjective and it's due to beauty standards of different places. Yeah, well, look at him. No, just butters. It was just the police were bad at their job and they didn't want to listen. And that's how he evaded it. That they will say these things. It's a form of propaganda. They'll say, oh, well, no, these serial killers were just so smart and that's why we didn't get them at the time because they were just like not Ted Bundy, the other one, Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer wasn't even hiding what he was doing. He was cooking, like people who lived in that block of flats were complaining about the smells coming from his apartments, but because he was going after gay men and men of color, and it was during like the AIDS epidemic where people thought if you even shook hands with someone who had AIDS, you would get AIDS. The police weren't, but the police just didn't care. They didn't care about who was being victimized. So he got away with it for so long, not because he was some sort of genius. He wasn't hiding what he was doing. Philip Schofield, because, and I realized this earlier, Philip Schofield and Brooke Schofield both did the manipulative, do you want me to just off myself defense, like when they were getting heat. He was getting heat for allegedly grooming a teenage boy and having an affair with said teenage boy. And he came back puffing away with his vape being like, the way people are going on at me, do you want me to just myself? And then Brooke Schofield, when she was getting heat for one of her scandals, again, like she said it a few times, like, do you guys just want me to... And it's so manipulative. It's a way of like deflecting, putting the onus back on like the people doing the criticizing and also making people concerned for you. You know, it's a sneaky card to play, basically. So it must be a Schofield thing. Carrie Bradshaw from Sex and the City, because she is an idiot. I've done a whole video on that as well at some point. Reddit, I mean, they hate vegans. They hate women. It's always the dumbest shit you'll find on Reddit. I also hate when, like, on Reddit, someone makes a funny comment and then the next comment replying is, like, slightly less funny. And then all of the comments replying are just even more unfunny. And it's like, do you none of you have, like, self-awareness? Oh, there I go again, yucking people's yums. Well, maybe people should stop being cringe. Reddit winds me up, and yet I'm on it every day, so I'm the problem. And finally, and this one is probably like one of the least serious ones, there's I forget her full name, she used to be on BuzzFeed, there's a vegan influencer called Merle, and I actually feel really bad for this one. I had to unfollow her because, well, her YouTube channel, because when she would, like, taste test things, and this is a me problem, I have really bad misophonia, which my boyfriend doesn't believe is a real thing, and I've shown him the articles, and he's like, no, it's not real. How devaluing and dismissive. Boys, men, my boyfriend I have one-sided beef with, which, because you might hear this. When she's doing taste tests, and, like, I remember the video that triggered it. I think she was, like, trying to make balsamic vinegar into Coca-Cola, like healthier Coca-Cola. She was going, even just doing that, like, I'm going to shove this through my eye if I ever do that again. It really upset me and triggered me, and it's a me problem. But I liked her channel, so I've got a little the least serious a bit of beef with, because I can't watch someone's content if they're doing that, because it's nails on a chalkboard for me. I know, my life is so hard. That's everyone. I really raced through some of those at the end, though, because I could go on for longer, but I don't want this video to be 3 hours long, of which it could be. So let me know in the comments below if any of you agree with some of these, or if you think I'm a horrible person. It's really not that deep, apart from all the ones where it kind of is that deep. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. I have definitely missed some people and some things out, but whatever, we live and learn. But that's all for today's video, today's upload. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Oh, check out my Facebook page, because I want to get to 10,000, followers on my Facebook page so I can monetize clips. Apparently CPM's good on Facebook. Can you blame me? I'm just trying to be a rise and grinder. I'm just trying to have diverse sources of income. Now people are going to have a one-sided beef with me for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, and I'll see you all next time. Bye. Check out my merchandise channel.